Hello and welcome to Drive and Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan.
I'm Ryan.
And this is the podcast where we talk about 2 movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into this Tuesday's edition of Drive and Double Feature Podcast, I want to talk to you about our Patreon. Over on patreon.com/Drive and Double Feature Podcast, we have a lot of off-the-cuff conversations, just fun movie talk that you can go listen to over there. And it's only $5 a month and you'll help support the show. But this Tuesday's episode is Fantastic Voyage from 1966. It's the return of another director. This is the second time for Richard Fleischer, who also made 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So,
okay.
Yeah. Did you not know that?
I did look to see who directed it, but I didn't bother to look to see what else he directed.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, though. It does.
It makes a lot of sense now that you say that.
Yeah, exactly. It's special effects heavy, and it's pretty much about a submarine. So a body submarine. If you didn't know, Fantastic Voyage is not Adventures of Outer Space. It's about adventures in inner space. They go inside somebody's body, really tiny, and they explore. I've never seen this movie, but I've always been really interested in it. That's why I picked it for the show. Because so many cartoons parody this movie, like Futurama did an episode, Rick and Morty did an episode.
I always remember the Magic School Bus episode.
Yes, yeah. I mean, this is pretty much Magic School Bus. I was sitting there watching this. There's something this really reminds me of more than anything. It was Magic School Bus. And also, I don't know, did you ever ride Body Wars at Epcot before that shut down?
No, I did not.
It was a motion simulator ride directed by Leonard Nimoy, of all people, about you going through the body. It was at Epcot, and I rode that when I was very young, and I also think that kind of brought my interest in this movie. Let me be the first one to say I was not impressed by this movie. It was, at least for me, holy crap, there's so much buildup to the voyage. Like, it takes so long to get to the body stuff.
It is unbelievably dry. Like,
yes.
It's about as exciting as reading a manual or whatever, because they go into great detail, like before they even get on, they don't even they kind of explain, that's this really important scientist who, after all these assassination attempts, they're trying to save his life, so they're going to go in his body to destroy a brain clot. But you find that out, and I'm just like, and I hate to say, but like, my eyes, I'm just kind of like tuning it out half the time, because it's just so technical. It's like explaining like all the minute details about how they're going to shrink down and what they need to do once they get inside. And I'm like, we don't need all this. Just go in the body.
Yeah, it is so unbelievably boring. It is 40 minutes of just like, and like, it's just so boring. Like it's
almost an hour. It's almost an hour.
Almost
long.
An hour. Yeah, it is. It's like, I just want to see the cool part. I want to see some special effects, but no, it's literally like the main guy talking with like Donald Pleasance and just being like, oh, well, you do this, and this is why we're shrinking. And then the main guy's over here like, shrink me? I'm not going to get shrunk. And then the guy, he's like getting forced into it almost.
The part I did laugh at was he said to him, it's like, you're going to be part of this mission too. And the guy it sounds so genuine. He's like, but I don't want to get shrunk.
Yeah, it does. It sounds so genuine. And they just ignore him. Nobody ever fights him or explains, like, hey, this is why you should do this. They're just like, we're not going to listen to you.
Well, so they don't really, do they explain why he's on there in the first place? Because he's a special agent.
Yeah.
And the other crew members, it makes sense. Like, they have a team of doctors. Raquel Welch, who's in this movie, she plays one of the doctor's assistants. And then they have a pilot on there to pilot the ship. So I was like, okay, all those people make sense. Why do we need a special agent?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the spy plot. So something that comes out of complete left field for this movie. At the beginning of the movie, it's like got a Cold War like feel to it because there's like this guy who gets like in a car wreck, and that's why the surgeries happening. And I guess they're scared that a surgeon, right? If I'm getting this correct, that a surgeon would sneakily try to kill him during surgery. But what
Oh yeah,
stopped
assassination by surgery, I think is what they say. Yeah.
exactly? But what's stopping that surgeon, the assassination by surgery, not happening on this submarine that they're sending in their body, which is what happens. Spoilers, it almost happens, is it gets sabotaged.
And they go through so many parts of this body where, so I mean, spoiler alert, the saboteur ends up being Donald Pleasance, the the villain in like almost every movie.
Wow.
I was hoping it really wasn't going to be him, because
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm like, it's Donald Pleasance. It's going to be
Yeah.
Donald Pleasance.
You knew it from the start, like maybe not from the start, but as soon as they get in the submarine, he's like freaking out, trying to leave, and it's like, oh, okay, Donald Pleasance is going to be this one, and he's quick to blame it on other people. Donald Pleasance is probably the only really good performance in this. Everyone else is very boring and unmemorable. Even Raquel Welch, she's not really even doing anything.
Donald Pleasance is the only one that shows any sort of range in this movie, because everyone in here acts so robotic, and
Mm-hmm.
there's zero emotion. I think like the only time is like when like Raquel Welch screams because she's being attacked by all these different antibodies.
Yes, yeah. Um, Dang, I feel like we're ravaging this movie, but I feel good because like I feel like I've heard, I guess I haven't heard a lot about this movie, but I would feel like it would be a classic, like a classic good movie because so many people like talk about it or at least parody it. But I don't know.
Well, like, so my kind of thought process was just like, okay, well, again, I'm having to just go back to that 1960s mindset and be
Mhm.
like, okay, well, people were, I mean, reading the reviews for this is that people were like amazed at like what they were able to do in this movie. And
Mhm.
I will say, like, a lot of the green screen effects, like, they look really good. Like they have,
For its time, yeah.
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, for its time. I was gonna say the backgrounds are really trippy. They look really cool and neat
Hmm.
looking,
Yeah, it looks like
but
a lava lamp almost.
yeah, but there are a lot of scenes where it's like actors' heads are being cut off by the green screen
Hmm.
or that type of thing. And even like the rooms they go in, they don't, the parts of the body they go into, not, at no point does it look like the body at all.
No, it's more of like a psychedelic vision of the body, right? Like because they like break off in like veins and stuff, and like it looks like a big puffy room, and it's supposed to be filled with stuff, but obviously it's not. They're going in wire, just kind of floating around these big sets. But I do appreciate that. I think if there's one thing to take away, I think the look of it is cool once they actually get in the body. It's actually at least doing something very interesting. How medically accurate it is, I'm sure it's not even remotely. um, but the movie
Well,
sure sells it like it is.
oh yeah. Well, they
Yeah.
say, because there's one point they're like, oh, we can't get to the brain this way, and they're about to call off the whole mission, and they're like, oh no, what we need to do is go through his heart, but we can't go through the heart when it's active because we'll die.
Mhm.
So let's kill this man's heartbeat for, I think they said you could live without a heartbeat for almost a minute, but like the scene goes on for like 3 minutes.
Yeah. I noticed that too. But you know what's weird about this movie? Okay, so I realized this while watching it. We go in at the almost an hour left mark, and they're like, okay, so the time it's going to take to get in and get out is going to be an hour. Otherwise, the ship's going to expand and completely kill him, right? And the rest of the movie is an hour long. It is in real time, 1 hour inside the body, which I think that's cool that they did that. But I also think I actually, even I'm talking up the body part of the movie. I got a little tired of it after a little bit.
It's not like, so for me, it's like I see like one room and I'm like, okay, that room kind of looks kind of cool. And then they go into like the next part of the body and it looks almost exactly the same, except they just changed the color of the light. So it's like, oh, this room's green, this room's yellow, this room's purple. It's not like I'm seeing anything different by any means. I guess the one that was kind of interesting was like the lungs when they went in there and like you could hear like the lungs breathing, but even then you don't really see anything, but like just like the sounds of like the breath coming through the lungs. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of neat, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I get like, I was trying to put myself in the mindset too of the time. And I'm sure if I saw this in the theater in 66, I would be amazed. There probably wasn't a lot like this out there. So there's at least that, but yeah, it definitely feels like, I don't know, there's a heavy focus on the people more than the wonder at points. Like there were scenes where people were in peril or were in trouble, and I just didn't really feel the thrill of it. I wanted to see more of like, oh, wouldn't it be weird if they went through this part of the body or something?
And it doesn't help too that none of these characters are interesting and none of them have like their own personalities anyway. Like I said, Donald Pleasance is the only one because he like the only one that acts kind of evil and he acts kind of scared or whatever, but the other characters like the other three male leads, they could be interchangeable with each other, really.
Yeah, they really could. They could blend in together. I don't even remember their names or the actors, really. The only actor I remember is the main submarine pilot, who is one of the side characters in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The one that always gets pissed off at everybody. I forget his name. Yeah, the one who plays. Yeah.
Wait, so is that the one that yelled at Nurse Ratched?
Does he yell at Nurse Ratched? He's like the one that wears like the coat. He's kind of the older one of the bunch. He plays like Monopoly with them, and he keeps getting. Oh, one sec. We'll get this solved.
You said it was the pilot?
Yeah, the one who like actually like pilots the ship.
William Redfield.
Yeah,
William Redfield.
Not that.
And then huh? Oh, I was gonna say he died like right after One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest came out.
Wow, you're right. 49. Yeah, no, it's not like I remember him from anything besides One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It was just like a weird, like, oh, that guy.
I'm looking at his picture now.
I don't even know where I'm like going with this, but
well, I mean, it was just kind of saying like it's not like these guys are turning in spectacular performances or anything like that. It's just kind of like, yeah, all right. I mean, there was Edmund O'Brien was in it, who is an Oscar winner, and Raquel Welch, who had a really famous career too. But nothing I would go right home about or anything for sure. I mean, it's just like I said, they're all super dry, just kind of, oh yes, just kind of going about this role. So technical.
Very technical. It's definitely part of that old school sci-fi, definitely like pre Star Wars, like it's not really about like the fantastical as much. It's more like, wouldn't it be cool if this was real? This is something we could achieve, and let me explain that to you. It seems like a movie for like a hardcore sci-fi nerd that really likes the technical bits over like the fantastical.
Yeah, and again, I think if we hadn't seen so many special effects where it's blowing our minds right now and in this day and age, and if we were sat there during the 60s and watching this movie, we'd probably be like, whoa, cool, I'd never seen anything like that before. And there was some stuff I did like. I mean, I didn't hate this movie. I didn't hate it, but it's not one I would ever watch again either. But
yeah, that's my feeling. I don't think it was bad. There's a movie there that I didn't hate to watch. It was serviceable, but it was also mediocre, had issues. It just has a lot of issues at its core. And is it my modern perspective getting into that? Probably, but it is what it is.
You youngin'.
I know. I just want to watch my Star Wars.
What's that? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I just said two words and put them together. I thought,
okay.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, it does feel like it was probably something very impressive. But I do like there were some technical choices that I did like I said, where when they do put them inside of the body, they're inside of a syringe, and then when they're injecting them into the body, like the inside of the syringe sounds like a waterfall being injected into the body. I thought that was pretty. I was like, okay, that was a nice touch. And
yeah.
And then the other one too is when they get out of the body, they get out through the man's tear duct, and when they're like zooming in on the guy's eye, they're like, oh, they're in the eye right now, and they're like practically drowning in the guy's like tears that are coming out of it. So
I thought that was a fun way to end the movie, and I really like the poster for this. One of the posters is the actors falling out of an eye, and I saw that poster, didn't think of it, and then after watching the movie, it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And man, this movie ends abruptly too. They get out of the eye, and there's no implication, nothing happens after. It's like, bye, the end.
No, absolutely not. And Donald Pleasance does die in the movie. He does die in a wave.
Yeah.
That was like the
that
one exciting part, like at the last 5 minutes of the movie, when it's like, and I remember like I was looking at the watch, and I'm like, when is this movie going to end soon? Because it's like nothing has happened yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, but like in that last 5 to 10 minutes, you're like, oh, okay, and it starts wrapping up, and I think he gets killed by one of the white blood cells.
Yeah, I think so. And it almost like works like the Blob, where it like kind of comes over to him in a very Blob fashion. I thought that was really cool. Or even Raquel Welch got attacked, and it's like these weird gooey things all over her. I thought that was fun. I have a fun fact about that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you heard it then.
Go for it. Yes.
Yeah, the first take, they were so scared because it's three men picking these gooey things off of Raquel Welch, and they completely avoided her breasts. And so that director's like, hey, can you make sure to get her breasts as well? It looks weird. So then all three of them started going for her breasts and nothing else. So Richard Fleischer was upset because he had to choreograph the whole thing, every movement of them picking stuff off. I think that's a funny little thing.
Well, there's one fact you forgot to add about that. Before any of the takes, Richard Fleischer told them, he said, okay, guys, grab what you please.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Like, okay there, buddy.
All right, Richard. But what else is there? Because that happens, the Blob thing. God, it's a movie with a lot of nothing. I'll be honest with you.
I just, like I said, going to like what I said, like those two scenes where I liked what like they said, I wanted a lot more like unique stuff. But I mean, when they're in the body, like I said, it's just they get out of the ship, they kind of float around. They don't really do too much, and other things too. It's like Donald Pleasance easily could have killed this man at any point. I mean, I guess he was kind of thinking like, oh, maybe I can stop the mission or whatever. But it never ended up like, there he's in the heart. Like, why couldn't he just like grab the laser and just shoot the guy while they're like inside of his heart?
Because like that's a whole big plot point in the movie, is that the laser gets jostled even though they tied it down. He could have, if he was able to get it off of there, he could have easily just like killed people. I know like in the beginning he tried to open the door while it was shrunk to kill them, but he could, he didn't get away with that because everyone could hold him down. But this guy is a huge laser. No one's stopping him. I don't know.
No, you brought a gun to a laser fight.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about Fantastic Voyage.
No,
it just wasn't the movie that I really wanted it to be.
So you don't normally hear this argument too much, but I think this is a movie they should remake.
No, I totally agree. I think it's a movie. No, and I like when people say that because some movies are, like this is kind of a mediocre movie with a great concept. It's such a good idea that it deserves a very well made production. And nowadays, with the special effects we have, it'd probably look incredible.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So no, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So maybe one day.
Fantastic Voyage, directed by
Michael Bay. We both thought it. Yeah, there you go.
And you know what? It would actually probably not be too bad.
They got like Bud Light advertisements inside of the body, like billboards. So
those are Bud Light cells. Yeah, there we go. They accidentally get to the stomach and they see like Cheetos and stuff like that. Yeah. Starring The Rock.
That's right. There you go.
That's probably what it would be. Fantastic Voyage. If they remade it, it would probably star The Rock. The Rock and Kevin Hart in Fantastic Voyage.
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah.
It'd be horrible.
No, can't wait. Maybe one day, but I personally do not recommend it. Like I said, don't hate it, but I wouldn't go out of your way to watch it either.
No, yeah, I don't recommend it. It's not worth going back to. Watch the cartoons instead.
There you go. Watch Magic School Bus.
Yeah, yeah, much better. But I think that about wraps it up. So what are we covering on Thursday, Ryan?
Well, Nathan, we're going to be talking about 1971's Silent Running. And I don't think that is not available anywhere for free. You'll have to pay for it to watch it. But it is something that Nathan and I own on Blu-ray. So we have some extra double special features that we can talk about. So we'll try to fill you in if you don't feel like buying the movie.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to send us an email, you can email us over at driveindoublefeaturpodcast@gmail.com. You can also tweet at us at DIDFpod. But until next time.